Hello everybody. Once again I am here with you for the another part or the another experimental setup, that is Amaga's experiment in this second unit, that is real gases and their behavior is to be there. In the previous session we have seen what is exactly the Andrews experiment and what exactly the critical point is to be there, what is the critical temperature, what is the critical pressure, what is the critical volume is to be there. Basically where the gas is going to be liquefied below that temperature, at certain pressure is to be applied. In that case, the such a point where this is going to be happening below that temperature, that is critical point or the critical temperature is to be there. According to the different types of the gases, the critical point is going to be different. So Amagatis also have done some experimental things, and what he has done exactly, let's say in detail. Well, while in Andrew's experiment, we have seen what is meant to be as an critical temperature is to be there, and Amagat studied the behavior of the gases at high pressure, and the same thing he has done basically regarding the calculation about the different gases are to be there. And the whatever the apparatus he selected, the experimental setup is somehow a little bit different. If you look at this stage, that is the Amagat's experiment is to be there, it is one manometer which is tube which is very high, nearly 300 meter, since approximately 1000 feet is to be there, and which is connected, which containing the mercury, and the scale is to be also there for measuring the pressure. And exactly the base of this cylinder is going to be situated in the mines, coal mines. If you have seen this experiment is to be maintaining the pressure, this is coal mines are taken into account, or the position is to be this plungers, that is yes is to be there, increasing the pressure is to be there. And here is the inverted tube is to be there, at is if you look at this is to be as an A tube is to be called, it is to be. And this inverted tube is containing the gas, where we want to understand what is going to be happening for the different pressures or the high pressure is to be there. And this A tube is surrounded by the oil bath, and to maintain the temperature of that A glass tube, means due to the high pressure or the temperature, it should not break, and that's why this oil bath is to be there. And oil have larger capacity to sustain the temperature rather than the water is to be there. In generally water bath is used, but here the oil bath having the larger strength, because of the molecules are the bulky, and that's why the strength will be max. And here are the oil baths surrounded by this inverted glass tube A is to be there, which containing the different gases. Here the nitrogen is written, that is to be different gas you can select for the experiment. This is what the black part completely shown here to be as in mercury, this to indicating the pressure with the volumes are to be, variations are to be there. And this is what the experimental setup in detail, if you see, this is what the cylinder we have to keep nearly 300 meters, and basically in the miles are to be there. So length of this particularly uh, tube, manometer long tube, is nothing but to be 300 meter, and which cylinder is kept at the bottom of this mines at the fitted, and with the different gases we can perform this experiment. Now related with the keeping at one constant temperature, the pressure is going to be increased, and according to that the variation of the gases is observed. Now basically the Amagats and the Antius experimental setups are going to be different, and the high pressure, at high pressure Amagats studied what exactly happening for the different gases to be there. Now experiment, the temperature of the experimental gas can be maintained and fixed value by this way experimental setup. As the tube A is calibrated and the volume of the experimental gas can be read directly through that. There is also on a glass tube A, this is to be somehow the calibrated scale is to be there. Pressure on the gas can be measured by measuring the difference in the mercury columns, that is to be there. And in the tube A, the manometer tube is to be there, and the manometer tube. Now here the important factor, another one is to be the pressure is going to be generally maintained. The in the Amagat's experiment, that is 420 atmospheric pressure is going to be maintained. That is inside this experimental setup, where the pressure is constant for all the different, that is 420 atmospheric pressure is maintained in the Amagat's experiment. And for the different liquids, like the here you can see the O2, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and ethylene are studied under this Amagat's experiment. And what he found exactly with this experimental setup, or with the high pressure, what the variation he found in these gases, that is important. And these are the somehow results of this Amagat's experiment. The first one, he found that at low temperature, or sorry, at the low pressure, for the gases like the oxygen, nitrogen, and the carbon dioxide and the ethylene, the product PV decreases with the increase in the pressure is to be there. There is always a pressure volume versus pressure relationship is to be there. And this is somehow showing that at low temperature, these gases, the PV is going to be decreasing with the increase in the pressure is to be there. Secondly, the another important factor, at the as the pressure is going to be increased further, the product at the beginning stage at the low temperature, these PV values for this oxygen, nitrogen, and the carbon dioxide and the ethylene, for these gases, the at low pressure, the PV decreases at the beginning stage for the low pressure. But further, where you are increasing the pressure continuously, the PV attains a minimum value and then shows steady increase with the increase in the pressure. Means it will go slowly down at certain level, and again it starts slowly increasing is to be there. So this is somehow at the related with the critical points parts is to be there. At up to critical point, it goes on decreasing and decreasing. After that one, it goes on increasing and increasing likewise there to be there. And lastly, what he found exactly, it is to be in case of the hydrogen, the product PV increases steadily with the increase in the pressure. As far as H2 gas is to be there, hydrogen is to be there, he found the variation as far as this. And that's why if you have seen, there are number of gases which are very cold, maintained at very cold temperatures are to be there. This is what the boiling and the melting points parts are to be there. This is what the Amagat's experiment and its details are to be there. So thank you for again joining this session at this stage. The Amagat's experiment is very important for to study at what happens at the exactly high pressure. As far as what we studied in this case, that is the PV goes on decreasing for the low pressure, and it goes on increasing after certain attending a certain value, and slowly it grows on increasing and increasing. As far as oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide and ethylene, this goes on decreasing at the low pressure, and after going to certain value, it goes on slowly increasing and increasing with the pressure is to be there. But as far as the H2 is to be concerned, hydrogen, there is variation, approximately opposite results we have seen. So thank you for joining this session. Be at home and be safe. Thank you.